Hey everybody, I am starting a series all about fear. And when I say that word fear, I just want you to stop and think, what does that word fear mean to you? And if you're anything like me, when I hear the word fear, I immediately think about things or maybe people or situations that I'm afraid of or I used to be afraid of. For instance, I used to be afraid to go into the basement of my parents' house by myself. And I remember running down as fast as I could, getting whatever I needed, and running straight up the stairs. I used to be afraid that someone was hiding behind the shower curtain in our bathroom. Yes, I watched a lot of scary movies. That put some limiting beliefs in my head. I used to be afraid of that. I, as an adult, used to have a really extreme fear of birds. That's so much better now. I used to be afraid of traveling, of getting on airplanes. And there are so many things, so many fears in my life that I'm able to look back on and be like, wow, I've really worked hard to overcome that, right? And overcome those things that I was afraid of. What I've learned recently, as I was thinking like, wow, I'm really doing a good job with this fear thing. Like I'm getting it, right? I stepped back and realized a coach of mine had helped me see that fear wears many different masks. It shows up in many different ways. So when we think that we might be like handling it and doing well, what we might not realize is how deceptive that feeling of fear can be and how it can creep in other ways. For instance, fear can show up as jealousy, as pride, control, fear of missing out, comparison, jealousy. Fear can show up as rejection. It can show up as a lot of different things, masked as fear. So we think we're feeling jealous, and behind that, there's really a fear. We think that we have to be in control of everything. Well, there's a reason we think we have to be in control of everything. And when we step back and peel back the layers, we realize often that it's because we're afraid of something. So my goal in the next few weeks with this series is to really tackle each of those masks on its own, sharing stories with you personally, how that's shown up in my life and giving you like real life vulnerable examples. And then more importantly, sharing strategies to help you be able to release those fears once you've identified them and how to continue to move forward. Right? Because there are so many negative effects of fear. And I just want to share some of those with you. There are things, fear can cause isolation and people to withdraw. Fear can cause depression. It can cause problems sleeping. Fear can cause unexplained sicknesses. It can cause immorality. Fear can cause a lot of different things. So it's up to us to be able to identify all of these masks that fear really wears so that we can be conscious of them, so that we can catch them, and so that we can reframe and rewrite the story. Because God did not give us a spirit of fear or timidity. He gave us a spirit of power, love, and self-discipline. So over these next few weeks, we're going to talk about some of these points of the masks that fear wears and how we can overcome them. In the meantime, just sit back and do some reflection. What does fear mean to you? And are there any areas in your life currently where you are experiencing some fear? And just journal on that and reflect on that and tune in the next upcoming weeks as we identify each of those masks and what they look like, how they can show up, and how we can overcome them.